Does running out of items haunt your dreams? Are you struggling to keep up with your online teammates? Do you find yourself constantly running out of Zenny? Welcome, fledgling hunters. The name's Cruel. That's King Rob Rule. And today I aim to alleviate your concerns and potentially teach you some new things that will make your Monster Hunter Rise experience buttery smooth. I'll have timestamps for different sections of the video if you want to skip ahead to anything specific. Let's start off with some quality of life tips. First up, and perhaps the most important thing, is that you always have potions, traps, and all manner of consumables available at all times. Wouldn't it be nice to passively generate materials over time without gathering? Well, you can. One of these methods is accessed through the Argosy, found in the Buddy Plaza. Here, you can multiply items to your heart's content in between quests. You'll need to hire additional buddies through Iori, also found in the Buddy Plaza, to help run this for you. This is the most effective way of keeping your crafting materials stocked up. For an in-depth guide of how to use the Argosy, I'll link my Argosy guide to a card here, or you can just as easily access it in the description below. But the Argosy isn't your only tool in the Buddy Plaza that passively gathers items for you. There is also the Meowcenaries. Just like the Argosy, you send out buddies to gather materials for you during quests. The main difference here is that they gather materials based on the locations you send them to. You will receive a notification when the Argosy and Meowcenaries have completed their tasks, but you can take materials off them early if you so choose. If you find constantly going back to the Buddy Plaza to be cumbersome, you can access both these facilities via the house cat in your home or the hub prep area. Also, you'll find a Cohoot Nest up this tree in the Buddy Plaza. Every 5 quests, it will fill up and you can gather rare materials from it. So don't forget to check back here from time to time. This is especially useful for Lagnapples, which allow the Argosy, Meowcenaries, and Buddy training to operate more effectively. If that's still not enough for you, you can hire gathering Palicos from Iori that will passively gather items for you while you're in a quest. This even includes monster materials. All Palicos will gather materials to some degree, but the extent that gathering Palicos collect is on a whole other level. You can choose to ditch your Palamute and hire 2 gathering Palicos to join you at once for maximum profit. In order to ensure you can hire gathering Palicos, speak to Iori, select Scout Buddy, then select Change Criteria. You'll be taken to a new menu. Here, select Change Criteria, then go to the bottom of the list and select Support Type, then select Gathering Palico. Now just navigate back to the original menu and select Confirm. You'll notice your Palicos haven't changed yet. Don't worry, just do a quest, come back, and you'll have a whole litter of gathering Palicos to choose from. Just make sure, when you've hired your Palicos, to go over to the buddy board and select them to make sure they join you in your hunts. Now we've talked about making sure our materials are always stocked up. The next natural step is making sure our pockets are bursting with Zenny, right? There's a really simple trick to this. There's an armor skill called Geologist. The Gilcross armor has it, which you should be able to obtain for free from Senri the Mailman at the start of the game, so long as you have the latest update installed. If you don't have internet access, you can also use high rank leather armor. Another option is to craft Geologist decorations, which is pretty simple to fit into any build. Anyway, this skill will allow you to gather more ore. The idea is to go out, gather as much ore as possible, and sell it. However, to take full advantage of this, we want to go to a map that has an upsurge in mining outcrops. To check this, select Expedition and hit the R button to check the next page. At the top, there should be locale info, which will tell you if there's an upsurge in a particular gathering node. If it says mining outcrops, you're good to go. If not, complete another quest, come back and check again. The flooded forest or lava caverns typically yield the best results depending on your route for gathering ore. Gaijin Hunter has some really good routes available on YouTube, which I will link in the description for those looking to maximize their runs. When done well, you can end up making 300,000 Zenny every 15 minutes, even more if you get better at it. Don't sleep on this. If this method isn't your style though, there is always the option of selling monster materials. You can do this at the end of a quest. Instead of selecting Take All, you can just as easily select Sell All and get yourself a bigger payday. You can also sell items straight from your item box. Simply select Manage Items, then select Sell Items, and get rid of anything you don't think you'll need. But we're all hoarding monster hunters here, so I can understand if this is too confronting. You want to make sure you check in at the market every time there is a sale, and this isn't just for cheap items. While cheap items are great, what you really want is to enter the lottery. This will often yield rare rewards such as ancient potions, traps, life powders, and more. And every now and then you might be lucky enough to score a statue to decorate your room with. It's so cheap, it's basically free, so make sure to be using it as much as you can. Speaking of the market, once you hit high rank, you can obtain the Powercharm and Armorcharm. These are passive items that sit in your inventory and give you a boost to your stats. After defeating a Bushi in rank 6 of high rank, you will be able to upgrade these charms to Power Talon and Armor Talon. You just need to combine them with Ibushi claws via the crafting menu. And in case you were wondering, the Power Charm and Armor Charm stack with the Power Talon and Armor Talon. So if you have room in your inventory, you can include all four for the maximum effect. Make sure you always have subquests active. You can apply for subquests via the quest maidens. All of these tasks are typically achieved through natural gameplay, so you may as well get rewarded for it. It's a great way of earning armor spheres for upgrading your armor, so if you want to make sure you always have enough, keep applying for subquests. When in Kimura Village, you may notice NPCs with yellow, blue, and red speech bubbles above their heads. Make sure to speak to all of these NPCs as soon as possible. They will either give you rewards, side quests that unlock new features, and more. A quick way to check if you still have people to talk to is to hold down the minus button to bring up the fast travel screen. If one of the zones has a speech bubble on it, there will be someone you have to talk to. If not, you're all good for the time being. If your goal is to get to high rank as soon as possible, complete the village portion of the game first. Completing village quests will unlock special license tests that upon completing will eventually lead to the high rank urgent quests. This is faster than completing the low rank hub because the village monsters have much lower HP. Completing village quests also helps you to earn Kimura tickets, which will unlock some unique gear. These tickets are hard to come by. The only other way to get them is through completing Rampage quests, so you may as well do the village quests to get started on them. Now, let's get into some tips that will help you when actually out in the field. But before we do, if this video has provided value to you, make sure to smash the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel a lot and would be greatly appreciated. Okay, let's move on. The Radial Menu is a tool that will be invaluable to you as a hunter. Instead of having to manually cycle through each and every one of your items, you can use the Radial Menu to cycle through a wheel of options. You hold the L button to access it, just like the manual way, but you use the right stick to make your selection. Simply hover over it and let go. It is super convenient and I can't recommend it enough. It's probably the best feature ever implemented into a Monster Hunter game. At the start of the game, there will be a default setting for the Radial Menu, but you can customize it however you want. And it's not only for setting items either. You can set all manner of commands, such as calling your Palamute, using shoutouts and stickers, even crafting items on the fly. You're not limited to one Radial Menu either. You can set a different set of commands for each direction on the D-pad. That is, if you hold L and press right on the D-pad, there will be a whole new Radial Menu for that directional input. You could have a menu for consumables, a menu for crafting, one for communication, and another for traps. But ultimately, it's completely up to you, and you can tailor it to your personal playstyle. To edit your Radial Menu, simply press the plus button to enter the menu screen. Select Radial Menu settings and select Quests. Here, you will see 4 shortcuts. Each of the shortcuts denotes a position on the D-pad. Shortcut 1 is for the up direction on the D-pad, shortcut 2 is for the right, and so on. To edit a shortcut, select it and use the right stick to navigate the wheel. Select the position of the wheel you want to edit and you will be given a list of options to choose from. For example, I could select Item Pouch and then change the whetstone to Throwing Kunai. Personally, I like the whetstone where it is, so we'll leave that, but that's just an example. Next up, let's talk about our new lovable buddy, the Palamute. Most of us know the benefit of the Palamute is to get around the map faster, and most of us seem to understand we can drift for a speed boost by pressing ZL. But what you may not know is that you can perform various actions while riding your Palamute. For example, you can sharpen your weapon, eat a steak, chug a potion, just about anything. And you can do it while in combat too. No need to make a run for it once you start bouncing off the monster. Simply call your Palamute and sharpen up while you ride around the monster, dodging its attacks. It's not just good for being in the middle of combat though, but also for when the monster leaves the area. Instead of standing in place, restoring health and stamina and sharpening, you can do all those things on your doggo friend on the way to the monster. And this isn't so much a tip, but something fun, is drift boosting towards the monster, leaping off with B, and going for a big attack for mounting damage. Next up, I recommend unlocking camps on all maps as soon as possible. This will allow for fast travel between camps for efficient traversal. I'll show you the locations for all the current available camps for Monster Hunter Rise. Shrine Ruins, Subcamp 1. Frost Islands, Subcamp 1. Subcamp 2. Sandy Plains, Subcamp 1. Subcamp 2. Flooded Forest, Subcamp 1. Lava Caverns, Subcamp 1. Subcamp 2. Note that discovering these camps does not automatically unlock the camp. You'll need to talk to an NPC which will give you a side quest that upon completion will unlock the camp. To fast travel between camps, simply hold the minus button to bring up the map, press A, and then select your destination. Speaking of traversal, as you explore the maps, you'll find these jewel lilies. Here, you can set down great wirebugs. Don't freak out about them though, because once they're set, they're available forever. These guys help you traverse the map extremely quick and don't cost you a thing. At the start of the game, you will only have a handful, but as you progress, keep checking back with this NPC and he'll give you more side quests that will unlock even more great wirebugs. If you're struggling with a particular monster and your current gear and meals just aren't cutting it, you might want to consider using Spiribirds and Endemic Life to assist you. Spiribirds are the little coloured guys scattered across the map. You can collect them to increase your health and stamina bars and increase your stats. As for Endemic Life, these are collectible creatures that can assist you during the hunt. There are far too many to list here, but they can help you mount monsters, inflict elemental blights, prevent poison, and much more. NANI? Be sure to look up an Endemic Life guide if you want to learn more. One of the most valuable tools at your disposal is your Hunter Notes. It's like an in-game wiki. Now, I know that might sound boring, but it's absolutely not. Hear me out. To access the Hunter Notes, go to the plus menu, navigate to the sub-menu in the middle, and select Hunter Notes. Here, you'll have a list of information to choose from, but let's just focus on the Large Monsters page. Information on every large monster you've encountered will be listed here. You can check various things such as your smallest and largest defeated, monster weaknesses, ailment effectiveness, but let's be real, what most of you want to know will be how to get those damn rare drops. This tells you, just go over to the materials tab, select it, and cycle through each of the materials. It will not just tell you the drop rates of these materials, but which parts to break, what materials come from carves, and which come from captures. This provides you with the information you need to most efficiently go after the parts you are chasing. Just note that you need to have received a material at least once to be provided the specific requirements for farming it. A quick tip. If you are chasing something like an orb, for example, chances are you've received every material except for that. Just look for the one drop on the table that has question marks. Your note should still give you some hints on how to obtain it, albeit less specific. Stickers and shoutouts are not just a fun way to express yourself in-game, but are also a highly effective way of communicating with your teammates. Even on PC, where people got what they wanted and voice chat was enabled, No one voice chats! You can access the chat menu by pressing the minus button or by going to the plus menu, navigating to the multiplayer menu and selecting chat menu. From here, you can edit custom shoutouts, stickers and gestures, or just use the default ones. You can even set these to your action bar and radial menu if you choose so. There is also the option to free chat, but I imagine mostly just PC users will use this. For PC players, simply press enter and type a message. For Switch players, press the minus button twice and type a message. Effective use of communication is especially important if you want to communicate to players whether or not you want to capture a monster. When you don't let people know, most will default to capture, and this might be bad if you are going for a material that is only obtainable through a carve. Extending the hunt also allows for the opportunity to break more monster parts, resulting in more rewards. So make sure to have shoutouts and stickers set to communicate for this reason. I can count the amount of times on one hand someone has actually asked me during a quest if I want to capture or kill, and believe me, I regard them as an absolute Chad when they do. So be a Chad and try to resist the urge to automatically capture the monster. I will say though, if the team is approaching the final card, you may be considered a hero for going for the capture, so that's an exception to the rule in my personal opinion. Finally, let's end this on some quick tips for Rampage play. I just want to list some quick little things I see beginners not quite understanding. First up, there is a list of objectives to the left of your screen. Try to complete these to the best of your ability. For example, if there is an objective to kill, say, 20 monsters with a ballista, don't go jumping on a machine turret blasting down monsters. The reason for this is that completing these tasks helps upgrade your stronghold, which in turn unlocks more artillery and upgrades your ammo to be more effective. Also, the higher your stronghold level is at the end, the better rating you will get and the more rewards you will receive. Here's some tips for completing the more ambiguous objectives. For stunning monsters, go for headshots with the X button on the ballista. For elemental blights, go for thunder ammo on the cannons or use the elemental bombs gained from dropped items. For status effects, equip a weapon that applies status effects and use them during the countergong phase. Some status effects and elemental blights may even be achievable through wyvern riding specific monsters. Back onto the countergong. When the countergong is active, get off all artillery and use your weapon, no matter what. You get such a large attack modifier to your weapon that nothing else will compare. Except the splitting wyvern shot, of course. But that's all I want to say about Rampages. There's a lot more to know, so be sure to look up a guide if you're interested. Anyway, that was my list of tips for Monster Hunter Rise. If you enjoyed the video, found it useful, or thought it contained some good info for beginners, consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe. It goes a long way towards reaching as many people as possible. Also, a special shout out to my Discord community that helped with some of the tips for this video, particularly Sayu Sinner and Reiki. If you'd like to join our Discord community, there will be a link to that in the description. We organise hunts, talk Monster Hunter, and all sorts of other fun stuff. If that sounds fun to you, be sure to join. And if you've got any more tips, leave them in the comments below. And if you want more content like this, be sure to let me know. I've been King Rob Rule, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!